Hello everyone. I hope you would have liked my first lecture, which was on basic mathematics. Now, with the prerequisites done and with a pretty solid base, we'll start with this next lecture. In this topic, we'll be discussing about sets and intervals, operations on sets, Venn diagrams, variables, dependent and independent variables, some basics of functions, not very deep into it because it would be a separate chapter altogether, a separate lecture. But yeah, some basics of it, something on domain, some inequalities, some facts and rules, etc. based on it. Very important wavy curve method, modulus function, which is also called the absolute value function, some inequalities which involve modulus functions, and some inequalities involving logarithms. Okay, so from this, we are basically starting your state and national level exams journey. Okay, some of these topics are going to be really very important from the examination point of view. So basically, this topic is one of the important but less discussed topics. Okay, and why is it so? Just because you don't generally get the independent questions from these topics. But the understanding of this topic is applicable in a wide variety of topics like algebra, coordinate geometry, calculus, probability, and so on. Like there are many topics where the understanding of how sets behave, how inequalities behave in a different scenario would be required. And hence, I'm picking up this topic as one of the second topic of my lectures. So let's go ahead. We'll start with sets. So yeah, I'm starting from pretty basic. So set is nothing but a collection. It is a collection of things, objects, elements, or anything you can think of. The only requirement there, it should be well defined. So the set should be well defined. Okay, like it can be a collection of all human beings on the earth. Okay, because it's a well defined set. I have to pick up only the human beings on earth. Okay, it's a well defined set and hence it will be called a set. But a collection of good boys in your class is not a well defined set. Why? Because a good set of good boys, okay, will depend on person to person. So how you're defining good boys will be dependent on that. Like, for instance, for a person, all the boys scoring greater than 60% marks are good boys, while for somebody else, the criteria might be 80%. For somebody else, it might be somebody who is good in sports are good boys. Okay, or for somebody very strict, can be some the set of boys who are good in both sports as well as in like studies. So yeah, it depends on person to person and hence it's not a well defined set. So very clearly in mathematics, for a set to be defined, it has to be well defined. Okay, so it should be well defined. Also, each element in the set should be unique. Repetition of the elements is disregarded. So if some repetition is there in the elements, okay, like some element is repeated multiple times, okay, you can consider it to be present only once. Okay, we'll talk about it probably in the next slide. Okay, so now let me introduce this, how the set is written. Generally, sets are written with the capital letters A, B, or C, D, etc., etc. Okay, while the elements are written with the small letters or numbers, one like A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, anything. So this is how I've given few examples of sets. Okay, so this is a set 1, 2, 3. This is set A, B, and E. This is set Sham and Radha. Set can be of anything actually. It need not be just numbers or alphabets. It can be of anything. That's why I've given the example of a set of all human beings on earth. Okay. Now sets can be finite as well as infinite. Achha, one more thing I just wanted to clarify, that sets are generally written in the curly brackets. Okay, so we have to be a bit careful. These curly brackets represent the individual elements present in the set A. For this case, 1, 2, 3 are the individual elements which are present in the set A. Okay, moving ahead. Set can have finite or infinite number of elements, like set of natural numbers, which is generally represented by capital N, has infinite number of elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and goes till infinity. So it's a set, it's a well-defined set which has infinite number of elements. Generally, the sets will be having a finite number of elements, but yeah, there are cases where it will be having infinite number of elements. Okay, now these are some symbols, etc., which would be which you would be using for defining set to show whether the element is present in the set or not. Like in this case, a equals to a equals 1, 2, 3 is a set 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 belongs to A. E belongs to B. In the set B, E belongs to B. Gopal does not belong to C because there is no Gopal in the set, right? So Gopal does not belong to the set C. 0 does not belong to the set of natural numbers. 10 belongs to the set of natural numbers, even though it is not written, but these dot 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 are obviously making it clear that yeah, we have to keep on going through the series, and 10 would be part of it, of course. So 10 belongs to N. Okay, I'll talk more about number of elements in a set. Okay, so number of elements in a set is represented by N of A. N of the set A. Number of elements in the set A. We read it like number of elements in the set A. This is also called the cardinality of a set. Okay, this is also called cardinality of a set. So number of elements in set B is 3. You can check number of elements in the set B is A, B, and E, right? So there are 3 elements in it. Set C has only 2 elements in it. So that's what I have written. Uh, Number of elements in B is 3. Number of elements in C is 2. Obviously, number of elements in A also was 3 in the previous examples. So sometimes it is also represented as mod of B or mod of C. This is just a symbol, so be careful about it. It's just a simple symbol. Whenever there B is a set and we write these straight lines around it, okay, we generally mean the cardinality of the set by it. Okay, so clearly this is nothing but N of B itself. So it's same as N of B or N of C. Okay, repetition of elements is disregarded in the sets. I'm again repeating it. Okay, so that I have given one example also here. Okay, if there are this is the set, A 1 1 2 3 4 5 5 5 6. So 1 is repeated twice and 5 is repeated thrice, but this set, okay, will be exactly same as 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, idea is basically, and even if somebody asks you what are the number of elements in this set, what are the number of elements in this set, you will clearly say number of elements in this set are 6, not 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, not 9, not 9. The number of elements in this set are going to be just 6, not more than that. Okay, because 1 and 5 are getting repeated. Okay, so we have to be careful about it. Talking about null sets, these are special sets basically. The null sets or empty set is a set having no elements. Okay, if the set is empty, it is null, it is like having no elements at all, then we say it to be a null set or an empty set. It is represented by unfilled brackets or phi. Okay, generally represented by phi because it's a mathematical way to represent a null set. Okay, but yeah, somebody can also represent it as empty brackets. Okay, with brackets which are not filled. Okay, uh, if D is a null set, then clearly number of elements in D is 0. Okay, so we have to be very careful while we are talking about the number of elements in the set. Okay, now talking more about sets. Set can be represented in two forms, either roster form or the set builder form. The roster form is basically writing all the elements explicitly in the set, like A equals to 1, 2, 3, B equals to 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and so on. Yeah, I'm not writing all the elements here clearly, but I have explicitly written all the elements here. And it is pretty obvious what kind of a series it is, and hence set B is written in the roster form. Okay. C equals to A, E, I, O, U. This is again written, all the elements are written individually in it, and hence C will be also called in its roster form. Okay. What about set builder form? Set builder form is a concise form of writing the same thing. So I've written the same set of sets, okay, in the set builder form also. Whatever I have written in the roster form, I have written in the set builder form also. It is read as A is X is a set which consists of X such that these dots are called such that X belongs to a natural number and because comma represents an and 0 is less than X is less than 4, or X lies between 0 to 4, strictly between 0 to 4, and X is a natural number. Now all the natural numbers strictly between 0 and 4 are 1, 2 and 3, and exactly it is representing this set. Something similar, a concise way of writing this set would be set B is defined as X square such that X belongs to the natural number. Now X square, X belongs to natural number, that means X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. Obviously X square will take the value 1, 4, 9, 16, 25 and so on. Okay, which is exactly similar to B. Okay, but writing so many elements in B, okay, would not be possible. That's why we write it in the concise form. I hope this is clear. Now, what about this A, E, I, O, U? Even we can define in set builder form. This set can be defined in the set builder form in some English sentence. Okay, like how I've defined C is X and X is such that X is a vowel in English alphabets. Okay, now it is pretty clear X is a vowel in English alphabets, and we know vowels in the English alphabets. These are A, E, I, O, U. Yeah, so basically C represents A, E, I, O, U itself. Okay, moving ahead. Now, let me talk about some continuous intervals. Okay, so there are some continuous intervals which we should be careful about. So if we say A is less than X is less than B, and of course X belongs to the real numbers. Now we are talking about everything about the real numbers. So if X belongs to the real numbers and A is less than X is less than B, basically all the values between A and B, but A and B are not included. That's why I have kept it as open round. Okay, open point. These are called open points. These are called closed points. So I've kept it open to represent basically A is not counted, B is not counted, but all the values between A and B are counted. Okay, are acceptable basically. Okay, A is not acceptable, B is not acceptable, but all the values between A and B are acceptable. In this case, all the values between A and B are acceptable, including A and B. A and B are also acceptable. In this case, A is acceptable, B is not acceptable. Of course, all the values in between are also acceptable. A is acceptable, B is not acceptable. Okay, and here A is not acceptable, but B is acceptable, and all the values in between this is these two values are also acceptable. So I've written the same thing in different forms, which you will find out, which you will be finding in different books and different notations, etc. So I can write this as A less than X is less than B, or A X belongs to open intervals. We say it to be open intervals A to B. These are called open intervals A to B. So this represents all the values between A and B, not including A and B, because both are open intervals, and hence I'm saying all the values between A to B, but not including A and B. Sometimes some books don't use these curly brackets, they use those square brackets itself, but in the reverse direction. So this is the open round bracket, and this is the closed round bracket. Okay, this is another way of representing things, and you should be aware of it. That's why I have included here. Okay, so that you don't get confused when you will see these kind of symbols. Okay, otherwise these brackets actually does not make any sense in general. Okay, but now some books have started using these brackets, and that's why I have included in this text also. Now it's same as x belonging to x belonging to x, such that a is less than x is less than b. Something similar will happen for a less than equal to x less than equal to b. Okay, which is now the closed brackets. These are all the values between a to b, including a and b. So these square brackets mean the end values are included. The round bracket means the end values are not included. So something similar here. Here one square bracket and one round bracket. That means all the values between a to b, a is included, but b is not included. Here a is not included, but b is included. Okay, you should check the symbols also here as well, because these are sometimes very confusing. So be very careful around these also, and just go through all these so that you're not confused. I've talked about few symbols, etc. in this in the text till now. Okay, and some of the things that you will be getting henceforth, and hence I have included as important symbols. This symbol means belongs to. This you must have seen somewhere. Okay, this is the inverted A. This means for all values. Okay, so we write it the reverse A x. That means for all values of x. Okay, for all values of x. This means implies. This means if and only if. Okay, this implies both side implied, right? If LHS means the right hand side and right hand means the left hand side. Okay, it's both implied. Okay, this is equivalent sign. This is same as or equivalent sign. Okay, whenever we have to write something as this is same as this, A is same as B, we say it to be like this. Okay, triple uh, horizontal lines. Okay, and this of course means does not belong to. Now the intervals. So some of the intervals are given to you. I have given you some examples. X belongs to 4 to 5. Then that means or is same as or is equivalent to 4 is less than equal to x is less than equal to 5. All the values between 4 to 5, including 4 and 5. X belongs to minus 5 to 20. Okay, minus 5 is not included, but 20 is included. Okay, one very important thing which I mentioned here, okay, is brackets for infinity are always open. You cannot include infinity. You cannot write something of this sort or something of this sort. These are wrong. Okay, so basically infinity either minus infinity or plus infinity should always be with the round brackets. You cannot include infinity because you will be never able to reach infinity, right? So infinity always comes up with the open brackets. Okay, so x less than 2 can be also written as minus infinity to 2. Okay, and 2 is not included, that's why I've kept it open. Here minus 5 is included, I've kept it close bracket, okay, or square bracket, but infinity is all obviously open bracket. Okay, minus 23 is included, so I have included this. Okay, and it's going till infinity, but infinity cannot be included, so I have kept it open. Okay, x greater than 4 is not included, 4 to infinity. X belonging to 4 comma 6. Okay, that means x can take only two values, either 4 or 6, and nothing else. It does not mean all the values between 4 and 6. Okay, it means either 4 or 6. X cannot even take the value of 5 or 4.5 or 4.2 or 6.2 or 5.6. No, nothing is possible. Okay, x can take only the value 4 or 6. Now let's talk more about operations on sets. Okay, I'll talk about the union of sets. The union of two or more sets is the collection of elements present in any of these sets. So if the element is present in any of these sets, the union of that set would be the combination of both of these. Okay, we'll talk about few examples here. So like A union B, so A is defined as this and B is defined as this. A union B would be actually curly brackets, one is there in A, 2 is there in both A and B, which is good. Okay, 3 is there with A, 4 is there with both A and B, 5 is there with only B, and 6 is there with only B. But yes, if it is only with B also, then also it is to be included. That's why A union B would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this case. Okay, it is defined as A union B is X such that X belongs to A, or X belongs to B, or X belongs to both. Okay, X either belongs to A, or it belongs to B, or it belongs to both of them. Okay, like the case of 2. 2 is belonging to both, and hence I have included 2. Okay, I hope this is clear. Or and union are related to each other. That's why I have made it in a separate color altogether. Whenever we say or condition is related to union. Okay, and condition is related to intersection. I'll talk more about it. It's a collection of all elements which are common to all the sets. Okay, that means basically it is represented by symbol this. Okay, so basically what happens is whatever is common between the two sets, okay, will be the part of the intersection of two sets. Okay, like in this case, A intersection B would be what? 1 is not common, so it won't be part of it. 2 is common. Okay, so I'll write 2 here. Okay, 3 is not common, so I'll not write. 4 is common. Okay, 4 I can write. Okay, of course I need not to check, but for your convenience, 5 and 6 are not common to here also, and hence I have not written it here. Okay, I hope this is clear. One very important thing, if A intersection B is 5, okay, A intersection B is a null set, then A and B are called disjoint sets. These are disjoint. Okay, they don't have anything in common. So that's why these are called disjoint sets. Okay, difference of two sets. The difference of two sets A and B is denoted by A minus B, and it's a collection of elements which are present in A but not in B. So the elements which are present in A are all counted, okay, but I'll discard away all those elements which are present in B. For instance, A minus B is 1, 2, 3, 4 all included, but I have to discard away the ones which are present in B, which were 2 and 4. So 2 and 4 would be actually discarded, and the answer would be just 1 and 3. I'll give you an example with C minus D also. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 6, 8. Okay, 6 is the common one. Okay, so 6 is to be ignored, and it would be 1, 2, and 8. Okay, sorry, this curly bracket. It has to be a curly bracket. Okay, be very careful. I'm just again giving you the definition. A minus B is a x such that x belongs to A and x does not belong to B. B minus A would be x belonging to B and x does not belonging to A. X belongs to B but not with A. In this one, x belongs to A but not with B. For all obvious reasons, you will find that A minus B is not same as B minus A. Okay, the two sets are quite different. You can try out here also. A minus B is 1, 3. B minus A on the other hand would be what? Okay, 2 is common, 4 is common. It would be 5 and 6. B minus A would be 5 and 6. Okay, I hope this is clear. I hope you will be able to do these things also. Inclusion of 3 should not be a problem actually. Inclusion of 3 is first I can find out A union B, okay, which is this union this, which I have already found out, and union C, which is 1, 2, 6, 8. Now 1, 2, 6 are already present. I have to just add 8. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Sorry, curly bracket. Okay. Or I'll just cut it and write it again, curly bracket. Okay, cool. So something similar with intersection. A intersection B intersection D. A intersection B is 2, 4, which is already counted. Now I have to do A intersection B intersection D. Now I have to take the intersection of this with D. Let's check. Okay, A, B, 3, 6. Nothing is same as 2 and 4. So actually it would be 5 in this case. So A, B, and D are disjoint sets. A, B, and D together, okay, all the three sets together are disjoint sets. Okay, I'm not saying A and B are disjoint or A or D are disjoint. Okay, I'm saying A, B, and D together are disjoint sets. Moving ahead, we'll talk about the subset of a set. Okay, set A is called a subset of B if all the elements of set A are present in the set B. Okay, like anything, all the elements which of set A are present in set B. Okay, like I can give you an example. A, B, C is a subset of A, B, C, D. Okay, very clearly, just because all the elements of set this, all the elements of this set are present in this set, but A, B, C is not a subset, okay, of A, B, E, F, because C is something which is present here but not here, so it is not a subset of A, B, E, F. I hope this is clear. Okay, so a set can be subset of itself. Okay, and that's why there is an equal to sign which is present here. Okay, if a set cannot be a subset of itself, okay, then we say it to be a proper subset. Okay, there's no possibility that two sets can be even equal. That's why set A is called a proper subset of B. Okay, if there is no possibility of equal to sign. Okay, and that's where we represent it by this symbol. This equal to sign goes away. It's something similar as A is less than B, okay, or A is less than equal to B. If there is a possibility that that A and B both can be equal, we write the equal sign, okay. And whenever there is no possibility of A and B are equal, we just write the less than sign. Something similar happens here as well. Equality of two sets. Two sets are said to be equal when A is a subset of B and B is a subset of A. I'm not saying A is a proper, somehow if you have proved that A is a proper subset of B, then A cannot be equal to B for sure. Okay. But A is a subset of B and B is a subset of A. That means it's something similar like A is less than equal to B and B is less than equal to A. Then the only possibility is A is equals to B. Okay, something of that sort itself, where two sets are taken out to be equal. So whenever somebody says, or in some of the questions they can ask to prove that the two sets are equal, what you have to just do is prove that one is a subset of another, A is a subset of B and B is a subset of A. Okay, universal set, it's a collection of all possible elements. Okay, collection of all possible elements is called the universal set. Okay, it is represented by capital U. Okay, complementary set, it is a collection of all the elements which does not belong to the set, like A complement, AC, we generally write it like AC or A complement or A bar. Okay, this is nothing but universal set minus A. Okay, I'll talk more about it through Venn diagrams now. Okay, so let me introduce some Venn diagrams, etc. to you. Okay, this is basically the pictorial representation of the sets. Okay, so what we will do is, and the picture looks like this. I'll show you. Okay, so the picture looks like this. The box is called the universal set, and these small circles are basically the sets. Okay, see, the size of these sets does not matter much. Okay, set A can include 100 elements and set B can include 50 elements. Okay, that's okay, completely okay. Okay, but that's how we represent the set in the Venn diagram. This is called the Venn diagram. Okay, so this represents set A, the red one represents the set A, and the green one represents the set B. Of course, you can see there is some common part also between the two circles, that is called A intersection B. Okay, A union B is nothing but this part, this entire part. Okay, this entire part is A union B, which is this part plus this part plus this part. Okay, this entire thing is called A union B. So through Venn diagrams, we can actually see how the things will look like easily. Okay, I'll try to draw some graphs, etc. for you in the later slides. Okay, let me try to draw something on A complement. Okay, so there is this box, which is the universal set. Okay, and I have drawn a set A. A complement would be actually this region. Okay, the entire region. Okay, this is A, this represents A complement. Something similar, even if there is another set, okay, like this and this, okay, and this is A, this is B, and somebody asks you B complement, okay, B complement would be everything, even the part of A, but not the part with B. It should not be part of B. I hope that is clear to you. Okay, and through this actually we can find out all the formulae, etc. also, like you would have noticed A union B. Okay, A union B is this entire shaded region, this region which is there inside the red circle and the green circle, that is A union B. all the elements which are either in A or in B. Now, as you can clearly see, okay, number of elements of A is all the elements in the red circle, okay, and number of elements in B is the number of elements in the green circle, okay. Now, both the circles are added together. What you will notice is this portion is added twice. Okay, this portion is added twice, so I have to subtract it once so that I am not doubly counting it. Okay, and that's why I have written A union B, which is the set of all the numbers between this to this is nothing but n of A plus n of B minus n of A intersection B. Okay, so this is the very famous formula for sets, okay, or number of elements in the set, which you should remember. Okay, so I'll explain you again. This is set A, this is set B, and I have to calculate A union B, which is this portion. Okay, what I have to do? I have to just calculate the number of elements in the red one, number of elements in the green one. But unfortunately, what I have done is I have counted these elements with A also and with B also. So I have to subtract once. That's so that I'm not doubly counting it. Okay, so that's why I have just subtracted n of A intersection B. Okay, somebody asks you n of A minus B, number of elements which are in A but not in B. So that would be only this portion. So basically, if I draw, okay, I'll draw like this. Okay, yeah. Okay, if I draw, this is A, this is B, I have to draw n elements of A, but not including, not the elements of B. So basically, I have to take only this portion, right? That means that would be n of A minus n of A intersection B, because I have to just calculate the portion of this part, right? All the elements in this part are to be included, okay, but everything else should be removed out. So what I'll do is I'll calculate all the number of elements in the set A and subtract the common portion, and I should get the number of elements in A minus B. I've given multiple examples here. A union B complement, as you can clearly see, it would be this. A union B is the inside portion, complete inside portion, okay, and okay, and A union B complement would be the shaded portion. I hope that is clear. Okay, the next one is going to be tricky. A complement intersection B. A complement, okay. A complement is all of these. Okay, A complement is all of this. Okay, and intersection B. Intersection B is the common portion, right? Like this. Okay, B is only this much. A complement is everywhere, but B was this much. So actually, what I can clearly see here now is only this portion would be the relevant one. Okay, and hence I can write this as, or somebody asks you number of elements in A complement intersection B, I can write it as, with the diagram itself very quickly, n of B minus n of A intersection B. Why not? Okay, easy, right? I've already explained you A minus B. Okay, I can again explain you. A minus B is all the elements of A but not including B. So it would be this portion. Okay, and which can be easily found as n of a minus b is n of a minus n of a intersection b. Okay, let us check about a minus b complement. Now this is something which is unheard of. Let's see, let's try to see it. A minus b complement. What is b complement? B complement is everything outside. Okay, and I have to subtract a from it. So everything, let's mark first of all b complement. Okay, b complement would be here. Okay, and now I have to subtract this b complement, okay, from a. So a, the x should be part of a, okay, but not part of b complement, which would be only this portion, which would be only this portion, right? So it will come out to be nothing but a intersection b. It's same as a intersection b. So with Venn diagrams, actually I had no clue about the formulae which are going to get playing, which would be playing here. Okay, but with these techniques, tricks, etc., I can actually find it out very easily. Okay, moving ahead, I'm going to give you few questions on this application of Venn diagram, and I want to tell you one of the tricks which is very important one, the inside out approach. Okay, the inside out approach means basically I'll move from the most inside portion, which is this portion, okay, and then move to this and then outside. Okay, we'll start like that itself. Let us try to see how we can apply this inside out approach in these problems. Okay, and trust me, like in books etc., they will be giving you this as a union b. Okay, or I'll write M union b, Melbourne union Brisbane. Okay, this can be written as B intersection M complement. Okay, only one of the two cities. This is M minus B union B minus M. Now these are going to be very complicated formulae altogether. This is uh, M union B complement. Okay, now these are going to be very tricky questions and I don't know formulae for all of these. Okay, so that's why I'm not going into the formulae part of it altogether. What I'll do is I'll just follow the inside out approach. In this case, what we will do is the inside portion. Okay, let us try to identify the inside portion, the most inside portion, which is both Melbourne and Brisbane. Okay, so there are 31 people who visited Melbourne, 26 Brisbane, and 12 people visited both the cities. Okay, so this is going to be 12. Okay. Now, Melbourne is represented by the red one and Brisbane by green one. I hope that is clear. So 31 people visited Melbourne. Let us try to identify exactly here. Okay, I'm talking about only this portion, not even the common portion. Okay, see this entire space is divided into 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 parts. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. I'm talking about the first part now. Only the first part, this part. Okay. How many people? 31 people visited Melbourne. So 31 were the total number of people who visited Melbourne. Okay. How many people visited only this part? Okay. Let's see. That would be 31 minus 12, which is 19. Okay, and 26 people visited Brisbane. So it would be 26 minus 12, which is 14. Okay, so I can clearly see from this approach that 19 people visited just Melbourne, 14 people visited just Brisbane, 12 people visited both Melbourne and Brisbane, and there will be certain people who have not visited anything, which would be coming here. So that would be 100, because 100 was the total number, minus 19 minus 12 minus 14, because 19 people visited Melbourne, 12 people visited both, 14 people visited Brisbane. Okay, so I have to subtract this. This comes out to be what? 55. Okay, so there are 55 people who have not visited this city. Now with this diagram, actually I need not to go into these details. I can just answer these questions very easily. Melbourne or Brisbane, which is this, or this, which is 19 plus 12 plus 14, which is 45. 19 plus 12 plus 14, which is 45. Okay, Brisbane, but not Melbourne. Brisbane, but not Melbourne. Okay, that would be 14. Simple. Okay, only one of the two cities, which would be either 19 or 14. So 19 plus 14 is 33. And neither cities, somebody who has not visited either of the cities, which will be outside these cities, which would be 55. That's it, answer. Okay, so I've not gone to the formula at all. Okay, what I have done is I've simply applied some inside out approach, okay, to solve these problems. Okay, so to solve these kind of problems. In the next one, I'm going to take another bit difficult problem. Okay, stay with me because this is going to be an important one. Okay, here we will be assuming few things also, so just bear with me. Okay, so now it's a three set problem. Now I've not given even formulae for three sets. Okay, and then I'm asking you the problem on three sets. Okay, but still with this inside out approach, you would be able to do it, and you will be able to do it in seconds. Trust me. Okay, now let us take it. In a survey of 5,000 students of a college, it was found that 49% watched football, 53 were watching hockey, 62% basketball. 27% liked watching football and hockey both. 29% watching basketball and hockey both, and 28% watching football and basketball both. 5% liked watching none of these games. So there were 5% people who were not liking any of the games, which is this one. Okay, which is completely outside. That's okay. Okay, that's the last information which we need. Okay, then they have asked how many students like watching all the three games. Find the ratio of number of students who like watching this and this and that. Okay, multiple questions, but basically if I'm able to find out all the individual pieces, okay, here, I should be able to find it out. Okay, number of students watching only one of the three games. Okay, it would be this portion plus this portion plus this portion. Okay, because this entire space is now divided into what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the outside portion 8. It is divided into 8 parts, so we have to be sure that we are finding out the correct thing. Okay, and find out the number of students who like watching at least two of the games. At least two of the games. They can like watching all the three games or just the two games. So it would be this plus this plus this and plus this. Okay, so if we are able to find out all the uh, individual pieces, we should be able to solve this problem completely. Okay, I've written the same question again, okay, so that I can explain you very well. Okay, let's start. So the inside out approach, okay, so let's not forget about it, And if the most inside portion, like we have to start with this most inside portion. Now, if it is not given, okay, then also assume it to be some variable and proceed. Okay, just don't let go the inside out approach. Okay, so what they have said, 27% like football and hockey both, 29% watching basketball and hockey both, 28% like football and basketball. But they have not given, okay, they have not given this number at all. So what we will do is we'll assume it to be X. Okay. So obviously I've colored it so you can easily relate to. This is a football box, this is a hockey box, and this is a basketball box. Okay, circle I can say. Okay, now clearly if this is X, they have said clearly 27% like watching football and hockey. Football and hockey was 27, which was this entire portion. So only this portion would be 27 minus X. I hope I'm clear. Okay. Football and hockey was 27, and this was already X. The common portion was already X. So I have taken this as 27 minus X. 27 minus X is only this portion. Okay. I'm again clarifying it so that it's clear. Something similar. How many like watching basketball and hockey? What is basketball? The green one, and hockey, green and red. Okay. कितना 29%. So 29 minus X would be this one. And what was the last one? 28 was football and basketball. So 28 minus X. Am I making sense? I hope it's pretty clear to you. 27% like football, that means 27 minus X plus X. I'm writing all the numbers in percentages, by the way. So, okay, don't be confused. It's all these are all the numbers in percentages. We can convert finally into number of students by multiplying it with 5,000. Okay, that's a separate thing altogether, which can be done at a later stage. Okay, but yeah, right now all the numbers are in percentages. This is X, this is 27 minus X, 29 minus X, 28 minus X, percentages. Okay, now come outside just, so we have done this was most inside, then bit outside. Okay, then comes the more outside portions. Let us try to find those. 49% like to play football. So 49 like football. Okay, so this should be 49. So football should be 49 minus 27 minus X plus, sorry, minus 28 minus X. Okay, am I making sense? Basically 49 was the total for this. Okay, but I have to calculate only for this portion. What I'll do, 49 minus this and this, right? And I should be able to get it. So this comes out to be 49 minus 27 minus 28 plus X. Okay, which will come out to be what? X minus 6. Okay, something similar I will do for hockey also. Hockey. Okay, so this comes out to be X minus 6. Hockey. So hockey is 62 minus the red one. Okay, 27 minus X minus 29 minus X, which will come out to be 62 minus 27 minus 29 plus X, which comes out to be X minus hockey. Hockey is, okay, hockey is 53%. Sorry. So this is 53%. This is 53. Okay, so this comes out to be x minus what, 3. This comes out to be 56. So that, yeah, x minus 3. And the last one for basketball, I'll do it quickly. It comes out to be what, 62, like football. 62 minus 29 minus 28 plus x, which is comes out to be x plus 5. Okay, so this is x plus 5. This is x minus 3. So I hope I'm clear that how I have got these x minus 6, 27 minus x, x, 28. So I have actually found out all the individual pieces together. Okay, like all the individual pieces are now found out. Okay, and the outside was 5%. This is what they had given. 5%, which was given to me. Now, one very important thing to find out x, this entire portion clearly should be 95 because the outside was 5. So this should be 95. So I have to just frame up the equation where x minus 6 plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this should be 95. So let's try to do it. I'll do it quickly. You can do it in your calculations, etc. So 95 should be equal to x minus 6 plus 27 minus x plus 28 minus x plus x minus 3 plus 29 minus x plus x plus 5. Okay, you will cancel out few x's, this and this gone, this and this gone, this and this gone, this x is left out. Okay, and you will calculate. So 95 is equal to this. So this will come out to be, if I add these, so it will come out to be x is equal to 95 minus 80, which is 15. Okay, so x comes out to be equal to 15. So now I can calculate all the individual parts. I'll start writing it individually on the previous page. This comes out to be 15. Okay, 15 minus 6 is 9. So this comes out to be equal to 9. Okay, 27 minus 15 is 12. Okay, 29 minus 15 is 14. Okay, and this is 13. 14, and this is 13. Okay, this is 15 minus 3, 12 again, and this is 20. 12 and 20. Okay, now these are all percentages, of course. This percent, this percent, this percent, this percent, this percent, this percent, and this percent. Okay, so these are individual percentages. Now, how many students like watching all the 3 games? It is 15%. 15% of 5,000 students, which is 15% of 5,000 students, which is 1,500 cancelled out. It would be 750 students. Okay, so now you can find out like each and everything, find the ratio of number of students who like watching only football to those who watch only hockey. Only football was 9% and only hockey was 12%. So 9 by 12 is 3 by 4. That's it, answer. It can come out in seconds now. Find the number of students who like watching only one of the 3 given games. So it would be one of the 3 given games. So it would be 9 plus 12 plus 20. And I hope you can calculate it easily, right? This is 21. This is 41%. 41% of 5,000. Okay, and you can find it out. Find the number of students who like to watch at least 2 of the 3 games, which is 12 plus 15 plus 13 plus 14. Add it up and into 5,000 should be and you should be able to get your answers. Correct? So yeah, that's it. That's about the topic for today. Okay. To get the PDF of these notes and to get more questions on the topic or to start online classes on weekends, please WhatsApp me on this number 9611451288. Please subscribe this to my channel and like my video. Share it, comment it. I'll try to answer as many queries as possible, and try to get back to you as soon as possible, right? There are more topics, more interesting topics, etc., which will be coming around. So do subscribe this channel. Thank you.